When I think about our profession, it's really a profession of emotional labor. When you think of it that way, that puts a different perspective on why our self-care is so important, and actually even more than just our self-care, but even our sense of well-being and the way we bring ourselves to our students and our colleagues each day. Most of us want some stress in our lives, because it's part of what keeps us alive. It's like, wow, I've got this kind of full agenda and things I do, and my life is just, a great path to be on. What happens though is when it drifts into prolonged stress, then that's a problem, and that's exactly what happened especially during the year 2020. In 2020, when COVID-19 hit, we had the end of a school year where our students were ripped away from us. So all of those more unpleasant emotions were just triggered and flowed out with not necessarily any processing of those emotions. As we moved into 2021 and 2022, there was this constant, almost weekly change in what the planning was that was needed. And as educators, we're planners. And so when we can no longer plan because the plan for this week doesn't work anymore because we're being asked to teach a different way or do something differently, or our kids are not going to be here next week. So that time in our lives, that kind of COVID period, for all of us as educators, just exacerbated and prolonged the stress of those more unpleasant emotions. So what Tina and I decided to do is create a framework. And in our framework, we created 4 dimensions, and each dimension has 3 routines. We're going to provide some specific ideas, but our professional development will go much deeper into how to really become great at those routines, if that's what you want, if that's where you're at and you feel like that's what you need. You can sort of do a self-analysis under each routine and self-identify, so these are my strengths and that's really good, but here's some areas where I could probably be a little bit better, and then how can I work on that? And hopefully we'll give good suggestions on how to do that. I think if we have a goal, we want to help every teacher come to work each day and live their best life that day, because our students need us to be that way. And so that's why we need to practice self-care, so that our best self could come to the workplace.